Shelby here. Hope you're well. Welcome back to Shelby on Safari. Today is a bit of a different one. Not only is it wet and rainy here in Winchester, but my buddy Leo from Natural World Facts wanted some advice on how to get started working with animals. What's it like? What have I learned over my journey? And so today, as I explore the Winnell Moors, come along and find out 5 pieces of advice that I would give my past self that hopefully will help you if you're wanting to start your own journey of working with wildlife. So let's get started. Welcome to the Winnell Moors, a beautiful green space hidden just inside the city of Winchester. So the first piece of advice that I would give my past self comes from my father. To actually do your research. Those 3 words he says all the time, and for good reason. It's really important to not only know what you're talking about, but to see what's already been done. What can we learn from the past and how we can apply it to the future? For example, my particular piece of advice is relevant to me in the terms of reading animal research papers, scientific journals. I wasn't really accustomed to reading them until much later on in my journey. And I feel if I would have started out being acquainted with them, and yes, probably just reading them for the sake of reading them, because a lot of it might have gone over my head, to be honest, a lot still does, it's important to at least get acquainted with the research method. You know, writing in a scientific language. All of these different factors can really help better you as a scientist going forward. Speaking of being a scientist and research papers, I have some very exciting news to share with you that I still can't even believe myself. So stay tuned to the end. Now, let's get on to advice number 2. But before we do, take a look at this view. It is so picturesque with the water gently falling on the river. And in fact, here come some mallard ducks now. Look at them go! The second piece of advice would be to don't limit yourself to just one species. I say this a bit hesitantly because it was my love for the cheetah, which if you've seen the video on the Flash and the cheetah, I think you might just get a taster for that passion of mine for the fastest animal on earth. It's a bit tricky because it was my love for cheetahs that ultimately led me down the path I'm on. I'm quite stubborn, and I knew from the age of 4 that I was going to work with cheetahs, and nothing was going to stop me. Growing up, I did volunteer at a variety of different places, which we'll get to later, but ultimately, it was cheetahs that brought me to England of all things. On the master's program, I was able to choose which project I wanted to do for my thesis, and surprise, it was on cheetahs. And that's what led me down this crazy path where now I'm married and I live in England. So while I say don't focus on just one, I mean don't limit yourself to learning about just one animal. And so I encourage you, if you love an animal, great, have that drive you, but don't think it's all about that one species. Broaden your horizons. And also, let's go find some shade because I'm getting drenched. So I've sat down because this tree is so trippy. I mean, look at that. How cool is that? Oh. So piece of advice number 3. In fact, my friend Leo from Natural World Facts has already done it. He's been asking questions. I encourage you to do the same. Not only to those who are working with animals and relevant fields that interest you, but others as well. The better a well-rounded decision you can make with advice from a variety of different people that you trust, that's important. And it can really help shape your journey for the better. It doesn't mean just asking which universities to go to. It can mean a variety of different things. In fact, one of the best places to ask questions is at conferences. And I know things are a bit tricky at the moment, but there are a lot of online conferences that you can attend. And if you be so bold, you can ask a question during some of them. It's also a great place to network. You'd be surprised how small the animal kingdom truly is in terms of the humans who work with animals. It's all about who you know. I just love some of the trees in this place. They're incredible. So the 4th piece of advice would be to just do it. Like what Nike says, really. Just go out there and do it. It's so easy to make excuses, but it's so much harder to take that leap of faith and just go for it. Take it from somebody who's done it twice. In particular, when I was studying as an undergraduate, I went to study at the University of Hawaii in Hilo. Now, I had been to Hawaii many times, and in fact lived on the island of Oahu. However, I knew nobody on the island of Hawaii, and it was terrifying getting on that airplane and stepping off into unknown territory. In fact, it was so terrifying, I did it a second time when I came to England to study wild animal biology at the Royal Veterinary College in London. That was a bit more daunting because it was an entirely different country. Nobody around, nobody knew who I was, and I was on my own. Well, physically on my own, because obviously I had FaceTime and stuff to keep in contact with family, but it was truly daunting. However, I find it's those experiences that really make you grow, not only as a person, but as a scientist. Taking that step of just doing it and getting over your fears can lead you to some incredible adventures, like this one. Brought me to beautiful, wet England. It actually is really pretty, and it doesn't rain that often, so please don't judge this video as it's always rainy in England, because it's not. But it has to get green somehow, right? Oh, I found a little moorhen. Hello there. My fifth and final piece of advice is the most important, in my opinion. Volunteer, and do it a lot. And do it in a lot of different places. As some of you know, my heart was set on being a wildlife veterinarian. For many years, I thought that's what I needed to be if I wanted to work with animals. So I did a lot of volunteering in places that would look good on vet school applications. I also expanded my horizons and volunteered in a variety of other places, from wildlife rehabilitation to turtle tagging in Hawaii, to even volunteering at zoos. It is difficult to get into volunteering roles in some places just because of the demand, but that shouldn't stop you. There are plenty of shelters and other places that really need help, and it's important to expand your horizons, like I said earlier, not limiting yourself to one species or even one taxa. But volunteer in a wide range of places can open your mind and open possibilities. I wish I would have volunteered even more. There are a variety of other places where I really wish I could have spent time. More time at the California Wolf Center. More time in Hawaii, obviously, because it's sunny. Hey, it also rains there too a lot on the Big Island, so I guess I'm kind of used to wet, rainy places. There's one last thing I would like to tell my past self, and I know I'm cheating because I said 5, but this one kind of doesn't really count because it's also super exciting news. I would say don't give up. Keep trying, especially when it comes to trying to be a published scientist. More often than not, you will get rejected, and that's okay, but that doesn't mean it should stop you. Keep trying. Improve your research methods. Work on your writing style. Maybe try a different journal. But either way, don't give up. And that holds true for my stubborn husband and I, because our paper is actually going to be published. It is really exciting because this paper is truly a symbol of our teamwork. Together, we collected data on zoos throughout the decades on how many animals in each taxa they kept. Using the International Zoo Yearbook as our data source, we were able to then look at how zoos have changed over time and where this can take us in the future. To be honest, this research paper left us with more questions than answers, which is really exciting for the future of where we can take it and where we can go next. I'll keep you posted as to when it's officially published, but I thought I ought to tell you now because even saying it still doesn't feel real. And For those of you that might not be aware of what that means, it's kind of confirmation that that we've done it, I guess. I never really thought of myself as a scientist and not necessarily clever. And no, I'm not getting emotional, it's just the rain, guys. But it is really exciting because we did it. Ooh. On a hot day, I'm gonna be right back here. Well, it's time for me to head back home because I'm absolutely drenched and I look like I just got out of the shower, and I feel like it too. But thank you so much for joining me as we explore the Winnell Moors, as well as learn some advice. Please be sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, click to subscribe. We'll see you later. Bye.